getting pregnant at 19 changed the entire trajectory of my life in the best way possible because at the time I really thought my life was over. Like I had gotten to the 19 and I did everything I was supposed to do. Growing up in the house that I grew up in, statistically, like I shouldn't have gotten that far at 19. Introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? I'm Kim Bish. I am a registered nurse. I'm the founder of Luvie Wellness. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. But more importantly, I am a visionary, a helper, and a connector. Those are my big things. Like I've never gone by my titles. On a scale of 1 to 10, how authentically are you living right now, both on and offline? I think both on and offline, I'm very authentically living. I don't know that I can do it any other way. Online, and I was thinking about this because I've heard you ask other people this. I don't think I post as much like on my personal page. It's a lot easier for me to post on my brand. When it comes to talking about myself or things like that, I'm like, yeah, you can see a little bit of it, but not that I'm hiding anything. It's just that I'm like, I think I got burnt out early 2010s, like 2015. I was like selling things online and I was like always out there and I was like always like positive and you have to post all this stuff. And now I'm like, I am still positive and I still post a little bit, but I'm like, I don't want to post that much. But authentically, like I said, I don't believe that I can be any other way. Like what you see is what you get. Okay, talk to me about Luvie Wellness. How did it come to be? What do you offer and why? What is your mission? So Luvie Wellness, it came to be because I saw a gap in traditional medicine and alternative medicine. So like the short answer is COVID. But being a nurse during that time, my husband's also a nurse. We saw people needing things that were not necessarily available, and also answers that were not really available. I have a brother-in-law who is a chiropractor. He was living in Florida, so they had a whole different understanding of what was going on. They were in the sun and they opened their state a lot sooner. What they were finding was people in the sun, but more vitamin D, were getting it less severe. They were doing studies on high dose vitamin C to kind of help with the symptoms. Maybe it wasn't curing people, but they were seeing that maybe it was helping. My father-in-law, unfortunately, got COVID in 2022. It was right before I opened the business. My brother-in-law came up and he was at UPMC and he said, can we just try high dose vitamin C? You've given him the remdesivir, you've killed his kidneys anyway, like he's dying, can we just try? And they had this script and they said, nope, these are the approved things that we can do. So he laid in ICU and died, unfortunately. And I say that with a smile on my face, I don't know how. But that really opened my eyes to, we're nurses. I should be able to give somebody vitamin C. And not saying that like it cures anything, but I think that there are other things out there that that should be available. And so it was funny, like right after he passed, I think I actually opened the LLC before he passed. So it was like a combination of all the things. But that was what was like, I'm doing this. I like got the course. I was like, I'm going full force into it. I want to be able to help people prevent things. I think that proactive health, preventative health is a huge thing. And so that is kind of so what I offer is IV hydration and vitamin therapy. We put vitamins in a bag. I give you vitamin injections. There's a lot of nuance to how I offer my IVs as well that I think makes me a little bit different, especially in this area. I am connected into the wellness space now. So I've been in the wellness space for 4 years. And I feel like Pittsburgh specifically, we don't cross bridges. We are also blue collar people who adopt these things way later than everybody else. And what I see is that maybe there's a nice pocket of practitioners in Swickley, or there's a nice pocket in like wherever we're at, east, west, north, south. People don't cross and they also don't know what they're looking for. So what I've had a really great fun time doing is when someone comes in, a lot of times they come in and they're like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I need. I just feel like crap and no one's listening to me. So first of all, I listen. I'm like, I hear you. I've had the opportunity to hear a lot of stories like that too, where things that like I didn't know existed, like mast cell activation syndrome, and a lot of things where Western medicine, they don't have the time. They don't have the time to like hear these people, see that there's a different diagnosis than just like what they can write a prescription for. And obviously there's a time and a place for Western medicine. I am a nurse. I work with doctors. Like I'm not crapping on them. But I do see where we fail people, and I see the opportunity where I connect people. So a lot of times I'm like, well, have you had a functional lab panel drawn? Where do I get that? Who do I talk to once I get that? So I'm typically networking, connecting with other wellness professionals in the Pittsburgh area, and then sending my people to those people. And I think that's what really differentiates the way I do things, where a lot of IV companies, all the IV companies, either are mobile, they come to your house when you're sick, and that's great, or hungover. I actually don't see a lot of hangovers. Or if they're in office, it's more like the recovery, like athlete thing, the big chains and things like that, where I'm seeing people where they're at and helping them be consistent with their health, prevent some things, maybe look a little bit deeper into things. So that's what I offer in a nutshell. So that like ties into my mission, right? So I am a helper at heart. So I'm not a caregiver. Like I hate taking care of people. I'm not the kind of helper where I'm like, now I'll stop at the side of the road and help somebody. I'm inclined to do that. That's like my license. But I'm more of like, if I have this knowledge, why don't I give it to you? Like I am very much, or I just had a friend who told me like her daughter had a autoimmune diagnosis. And because I think where like my wellness space physically, but also my wellness space online, like the things that I see online, you might not see them because you're not looking at these things all day. Or like as soon as someone tells me something, I'm looking it up, but I'm able to find the ungoogleable stuff, things that like might pop up on the internet that are like not mainstream. So I'm like, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And I'm the kind of person that like rides hard for people. So I'm like, I'm going to dig into this and I'm going to send you all of it. Like, I just want you to see this. Like, you don't have to do it, but here's like what I'm seeing. So my mission is really to help people connect to wellness. Like I want people to be well and heard. I think that's like the other part of it is, I just, like I said, there's a lot of people that come to me and they're like, my labs are fine. My doctor said I'm fine. I feel like crap. And I'm like, okay, there's other things that we can look at, and there's things maybe I'm not doing. I'm just a nurse, but I can help you figure out the landscape. So I don't know. There's not like a mission statement. It's just I want to help everybody. Okay. This is a fun one. I can talk all day on this one too. So how did getting pregnant at 19 change the course of your life? And how do you balance being a mother and a business owner? Getting pregnant at 19 changed the entire trajectory of my life in the best way possible, because at the time I really thought my life was over. Like I had gotten to the 19 and I did everything I was supposed to do. Growing up in the house that I grew up in, statistically, like I shouldn't have gotten that far at 19. I shouldn't have gotten into college and things like that. Like my mom is a great mom. My stepdad was awful. We were poor, and like my mom was very checked out. So it was very much like I should have gotten pregnant when I was 14. You know, like I had every opportunity to mess my life up to that point. I was thinking about this morning because I had a feeling we were going to talk about this. Like I was in houses, and then I went to Hopewell at the time where every mom had OxyContin in her medicine cabinet. Every kid was on heroin. I had every opportunity. I was in those parties. I never touched any of it. Like there were things like I tried OxyContin like once and I died. I literally I was like, I'm never doing that again. But someone that grows up like that, where my mom was like working night shift and my stepdad was abusive, so you were out of the house and you were trying to stay away from it. I had every opportunity to mess my life up. And I mean, like that, like I look back and I'm like, the hand of God was like on my life from the jump, because I'm like, there's no way. There's like nothing that kept me from what other kids fall into. So when I was 19 and got pregnant, I had already had a year of a biology degree under my belt at Slippery Rock. Got myself into that. I was like paid for it. Like my mom wasn't really pressuring me to go to college. She was like, yeah, do what you want. And I looked around and I was like, what am I going to do? And I was like, I'm not staying here. Like I have to go do something with my life. And I'm like, I'm smart enough. I'll go be a doctor. So I went to Slippery Rock, started a biology degree. I was actually a functional alcoholic. Like I was drinking 5 days a week. I had the time of my life at Slippery Rock. I still had like a 3.8 GPA and all kinds of high level biology courses. Was planning on doing that for the next 4 years. And then I went home and I hooked up with my high school boyfriend, which was also a blessing that like it was somebody that I knew, and got pregnant. And I literally, I remember driving past the clinic in Aliquippa because I was going to get Plan B. And I was like, I'm not pregnant. There's no way. Like 2 weeks later, I'm like tired. I'm like, and I was on birth control. And I had just like stopped taking birth control. I think I didn't want to pay for it. Like there was some reason in my 19-year-old mind that I wasn't on birth control at the time. Condom broke. And I was like, what? Looking back, I'm like, wow, like that's great, Kim. Tell my 19-year-old, don't do that. And I text my best friend who had synced completely. Like I was Tuesday, she was Wednesday when she would start. And it was Wednesday. And I was like, hey, did you start your period? She's like, yeah, today. I'm like, shit. And I got pregnant. I'm like upstairs, like the middle of the night. My mom's asleep on the couch. And I'm like staring at this stick. And I'm like, my life's over. Like, what am I going to do? So I go downstairs and I like turn the lights on and shove the pee stick in her face. And I'm like, what am I going to do? She was like, she just looked at me and she goes, if you keep it, or what'd she say? If you stay in school, I'll help you take care of it. That was it, like as bad as we had it, like that woman looked at me and said, as long as you stay in school, I'll help you take care of it. And I was like, okay. So then I'm like, I remember distinctly, like, the next sentence out of my mouth was, oh my God, I'm gonna get stretch marks. I was like, I'm gonna get fat and I'm gonna get stretch marks. And my mom was like, I mean, like these are not the things. So we're just like sitting in my bed upstairs and we're just like, what are we going to do? And she's like, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, it's not like having an abortion, nothing was ever an option. Like my mom was like, I'm here. Like, it's fine. And like, it was just, but I did still think my life was over because, his dad, like we were young, we were 19 and 20. His life didn't have to change. Like my life took a drastic turn where I was like, okay, I'll just go to Geneva, finish my biology degray. I'll still go be a doctor. Because my mom said, stay in school. And I was like, okay, cool, bet. And then I had like a UTI. I went to a female doctor. This is where like these things I look back on and I'm like, look at like the hand, like just the things that like those little threads of if that woman wouldn't have said what I'm going to say to you, that what I've done. I go get a UTI and the young female doctor said, don't be a doctor. She's like, go be a nurse practitioner. She was like, you're going to be $1 million in debt or $250,000, whatever it was at the time. You're never going to see your kid. The kid will be 10 years old before you even like get out of residency. She's like, go be a nurse practitioner. She said, go enroll in CCBC, get a 2-year degree and work your way up. She's like, then you'll make money while you have a kid. And I was like, never thought of that. So that was like a huge turning point where like I still hated it. I hated the idea that my whole life had to change. But it just like it sent me on this next trajectory of, I mean, I'm a nurse and I only have a 2-year degree and I'm a business owner and I've done everything I've ever wanted to do with an RN behind my name just because I'm an RN. And I never wanted to be a nurse. I hated it. Like I said, I'd hate taking care of people. I'd be on the floor and these nursing instructors would be like, Kim, you're very smart. You just suck at being a nurse. And I'm like, I know, but the patients love me. Like I could talk to someone all day. And they're like, yeah, but you have to like actually like do what you have to do. So yeah, that changed the course of my life in the best way possible. Of course, at the time, yeah, my son's dad was like partying and doing what he wanted to do, and his life never changed. And turns out we're best friends. But then how do I balance being a mother and business owner? To be honest with you, that one's 19 now, so he lives his own life. He still lives at home and listens to everything I say. But I have two more. So I have Neej, who's 13, and Sadie, who's 10. I really, at this point in business, I don't have much balancing to do because they're kind of self-sufficient. Where it matters is taking them to practice or making sure that I'm at every single game. And those are my non-negotiables. Like, I will be at whatever game you have. If it's on Wednesday at 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock, if it's on Saturday, I will not work. And I take that very seriously. So seriously that this spring I was like, hey guys, don't play a spring sport just for one season so I can build my business. Like, because I don't want to feel guilty. Like, that is my, like, if nothing else comes of it being a business owner, like all the stress and all the things, I'm going to be at my kids' games. Like, I will be there for you. Like, I'm in the stands. Other than that, like, they literally, like, my 13-year-old, he's like a little old man where he gets up on his own and he makes them dinner and makes sure that Sadie's taken care of. And Sadie is kind of self-sufficient too. So that at this point in my life is not a big balance. When they were little though, that was, I wasn't a business owner, but I went hard for like the work I was doing. And that was like a big thing where I wasn't like always present with what they were doing. And I think that's why like now I'm like, I will be at your stuff. But my husband's really great too. Like, he works 3 days a week. He, like, my husband and my mom, like, my mom's still, like, I called her yesterday at 2 o'clock. I'm like, can you get Neej? Cause his head hurts and I'm in Pittsburgh. And she's like, yeah, I don't care. So that all turned out well. Can you talk to me about childhood? How did those early experiences shape you into who you are now? My childhood was rough. My mom had us when I'm a twin, had us when she was 23 and single. My grandmother, I was very close to my grandmother. So, and she was not an easy woman to get along with. She had 10 kids and lots of grandkids. I was her favorite. Everybody knew I was her favorite. She was straight from Germany. Like, she was authentic, but she was like also like a bit narcissistic where she was just nuts, but loved me. So I had that, like, she was my good adult. Like, she was like somebody I could call. We were always long distance, but she did help my mom a little bit because she took me. So like early childhood and like formative years, we lived with her, which I think set us up for success. We saw like normalcy at least a little bit. I don't remember like any like crazy fighting or anything like that, like by the time I was like 4. So like all those great, like my mom would read to us and things like that. So by the time we were 6, my mom had married my stepdad kind of quickly. Like, I think she thought she was pregnant. And he was some sort of personality disorder as well. Like, he was nice until they got married, and then all hell broke loose. So he was abusive to both us and my mom, physically, mentally, emotionally. He would have been sexually, but I think he was too much of a baby. Like, he was too much of a pussy to like do anything. There was one time that he tried, and I called my mom, and he called my mom. Yeah. So he but physically wasn't even work. Like, the mental and emotional abuse that we went through. My sister was always heavier than me. Calling her names, things like that. Like, my sister was suicidal, attempted a couple times. Just like, it was horrible. Like, it just in the way that like kids should not ever grow up the way, like getting called names, like things that like I would never look at my 10-year-old and be like, you're a slut. Like, just crazy things that looking back now, I'm like, that's insane. But I think, like I said, I think the formative years were good, where we like had like some sort of like brain function before all that happened. And then I think that it just definitely made me into the person I am, because obviously I'm never going to do that to my kids, but I think it also gives me a view of it makes me I think there are things that like I hold on to from that. Like there's like I always think my husband's mad. Like if he like stomps through the house or like a door slams and I'm like, are you mad? And he's like, no. But to be honest, like I think it gave me some of my like superpowers too, where I'm very intuitive. And I know that's a trauma response where I can read a room really quickly and I can pick up on things very quickly. But I don't know that I'd ever give that away. I can pick up really quick. I think it becomes that like complex PTSD as well, where it's kind of like the ADHD diagnosis, that my brain works differently, that I'm kind of happy about too, because I feel like that's a superpower. Like I think that like me thinking in a different way, or I can figure everything out. Like I am very like, I can find my way out of anything. That I think that like, would I ever want that to ever happen to somebody? But I think it formed me in that way. I also, it's an interesting one. I think, I don't know that it formed me this way, but I also give people the benefit of the doubt, I think a little bit too long too. There are a lot of times where I would like say that, you're like, oh, I think he wanted to be a good person. Like, I really do. Like, I think he, you know, like, I think he wanted to, but he didn't have the tools to be a good person. There's a long time that I blame my mom a lot more than I blamed him. He ended up dying when he was 52. Like, that was like 10 years ago. So I haven't like really thought about it. Like, I'm like, well, he got what he got what he deserved. But even then, like, I was like, whatever. Like, he tried to call me and my sister, my mom wouldn't let him. He wanted to apologize, like, on his deathbed. I don't know that that would have made any difference. Like, I don't think that, like, I'm a forgiving person. Like, I'm a very, like, you know what? Like, people are people. And, you know, would I want anybody to go through child abuse? I don't think so. But, yeah, I think, but I do give people the benefit of the doubt way too long. Like, I'm very much like, well, I see the good in all you people. And why do I do that? But there's a part of me too that is kind of past so much of it without therapy or anything like that. I think I've just moved on from a lot of that. Like, I think people hold on to trauma. And I'm not saying like it's easy to let go of. I think people can hold on to that and make it their personality, or really like just play victim to it. And I hate saying that too, because stuff happens and it sucks and it's out of your control. But I'm not gonna be like, oh, I was abused and this is the excuse for my behavior. And I think it's made me a much better person because I've risen above it. I've seen like, that's not how we're going to act. That's not how we're going to live. I'm not going to use that as an excuse. Like, I could have used any of that as an excuse. Well, we grew up poor. I was abused. So I'm just going to have 15 kids and live on welfare. Like, because it was there, you know, it was easy. But I mean, I don't really identify myself that way anymore. I think a lot of it, like, for me, a lot of it is like my faith and like, I just don't, I'm like, I don't need to identify myself like that. So yeah, that was a fun one. What is the biggest lesson life is teaching you right now? What are you learning to love about yourself? I feel like I have so many lessons at once. Like, I'm kind of like, I can't pick just one. I think I'm being taught to listen. Like, I think like right now, like we were talking off camera, I think, for me, like, and for me it's God, but like I'm learning to listen to what I'm actually being told, like being obedient, because I sometimes don't listen and it has to come through like 15 times. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I heard that. You sent like 5 people to tell me the same thing. That was confirming all of that. And then I'm like, wait, it's my idea. Like, I can save myself a lot of money, time, heartache, all the things if I would just pay attention the first time. I feel like that's like my lesson right now is just like, stop. Like, you just have to listen to me. I'm asking these questions and then it's like, well, I told you that. I'm like, oh, this person told me that. Like, literally the thing I was talking about, like, there's a big decision I'm making. And it's been weeks. Like, it's been a conversation and it's come up. Like, other business owners have, like, specifically said certain things to me. And even on Monday, I had a client say kind of the same thing to me and she didn't even know. And then, like, last night, I'm like, God, like, I just want to tell me the decision. And I wake up this morning, I'm like, what? Like, you've been saying that. So yeah, that's my lesson right now. What are you learning to love about yourself? I love myself. Like, I love that I can just reinvent myself all the time. Like, I really, like, or just, I love the fact that I can just, and I used to think it was a flaw where I will get, and I'm such a visionary and I'm a visionary, but I also waste no time. Like, I don't plan anything. Like, I'm very much like, I see it, we're going to go and we're going to go full tilt. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. There's no plan. We're going to fly and then like catch it on the way down. And for a while, like I tried to throttle that where I'm like, oh, but I can't build a business like that. Like, it has to be intentional. It does have to be intentional. But if I throttle myself too hard on that, like where I'm like, I have to plan, I'll sit and plan for 3 months. Like, I have no in between. And then I'm like, confuse myself on the plan. And I'm like, if I would have just taken action when I was going to, I love to move. Like, I love to move, pivot, make it messy, and then fix it on. Like, we fix it, right? Like, it's like, and I have to embrace that about myself. That is like, again, it's a superpower. It's a, like, I see it, I'm going to do it. And the other thing is like, everything's figure outable. Nothing, like, there's nothing that I can mess up so bad. Like, I really am like, what's the worst that can happen? I am so, which is a bit deranged. Like, it's a bit like, it's a bit scary to a lot of people. Like, my husband's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. We're just like, what's going to happen? Like, we have a house, we have healthy kids, I have a nursing license. And if all else fails, I go back to work. Like, I'm like, there are a lot of people dealing with a lot more crazy things than like going into debt. Like, we'll figure it out. And I think embracing that and like not trying to fit into this like box of, well, you have to plan that first and you have to have all these things in place. Yes, you do have to have these things in place 100%. But do I do better with it if I'm doing it while I'm on fire? Yeah, like 100%. Like, I think there's no plan for anything. Like, life is, you just go. Like, I think that's my biggest, not to get off topic, but like my biggest like speech to younger people, especially my son, where he's 19 and he's kind of trying to figure out what he wants to do. And I'm like, start on a path. You can always change your mind. Like, there's no one that says like, if he went to Votech for electrical. So he was like, okay, I'm going to do that. And then we were talking the other day, I'm like, I think you'd be a great history teacher. Like, that'd be really fun, wouldn't it? And he's like, yeah, but I want to do electrical because they make more money. I'm like, then start in electrical. And if you hate it, then you go be a teacher. Like, you just pivot. Like, you pivot. It's like, I'm the biggest example of that. Where like, I'm just like, I want to be a nurse practitioner. I thought for sure I was going to go be a nurse anesthetist. Like, I was going to be a nurse anesthetist. I was going to be making tons of money. I was going to be married to a doctor. And I like get my RN degree and I'm like, oh, I make decent money. Like, why would I go do anything? Like, I would just figure, you just take a step, you take another step, you take another step. And if that sucks, you move. It's like not that hard. I make it sound so easy, but like, you just cannot, you'll wait your whole life. Like, I watch my husband do it. We're very opposite, where like, he will sit on a plan and he's like, he's got great ideas. Like, he can see things and then he'll just sit on it. And I'm like, why don't you just do it? Like, he opened a coffee business a few years ago. And we were sitting on the beach before he had researched the hell out of it for like 5 years. Like, this is the coffee I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy this. And I'm like, then go buy it. Like, what are we doing? Like, you work 3 days a week. You have 4 days to get to do whatever you want to do. Go roast coffee. Like, it's life. You get one. So like, why not do what you want to do? How has it felt to be seen in the hot seat today? Biggest takeaways, any final thoughts? Different, because I'm not used to talking about myself. I am, but I don't mind talking about myself. I think that's part of like trauma dumping too, is like, I'm like, yeah, so anyway, like this is what happened. I being seen, I think, is different for me too, because I'm so used to seeing other people. That I'm always like, who, me? Like, oh, you want to hear about me? Like, who am I? Biggest takeaways. Like I said, I think it's fun to talk about myself sometimes. Like think through like how I think, or like little things where I'm like, oh yeah, I do think that way, or that I don't take the time to like think about myself. Like, oh yeah, I'm an actual person and I like have thoughts. Anyway.
Can I actually stop you for a second? You mentioned that you spend a lot of time seeing other people. Do you feel seen in your life?
I don't know. Like, probably not. Like, I definitely don't see myself. Like, I definitely, this is something that I'm working on. I can get so focused on so many other things or so many other people that I'm a complete afterthought. Like, I won't eat or I won't take care of myself. And then I'm like, oh, wait, maybe I should go do that. That's a conversation I have a lot with like a dietitian I work with, just because he's my friend, and he's like, I mean, you take care of yourself too. Like, that's like, why don't you schedule time for yourself? No, I probably don't. I don't like, and I think maybe it's because I don't want to be seen all the time. Like, I'm also like I went through a period where, like I said, I've lived 15 lives. Like, my 20s, I had all my babies. So I was 19, had Dominic. 25, I had Neej. 28, I had Sadie. And then when I turned 30, like, I hadn't really been a person. Like, I was like a mom. I became a wife to my husband now. And like, that was like just all encompassing of like my life. By the time I turned 30, I looked around and I was like, well, what else is there to do? Like, I had felt like I was like at the end of my life at that point. Like, I was like, not the end, but I was like, what else? Like, I got married, I had kids, I went through all of that crap when I was like growing up till I was 30, and I was like, what else is there? So I went nuts for a little bit. Like, I literally like, and I was the opposite of what I am right now. Like, I hated my husband, I hated my family, I hated my life. I was in a high paying sales job that I was flying all over the place. I was like talking to all kinds of people. In sales, you're around a lot of charismatic people who are all cheating on their families, their wives. So that was the culture, and that was like fun. Like, it was like I hated my life. And like, Sadie was little when I had that job. So I was like flying all over the place. I wasn't home a lot. Like, I breastfed her for maybe like 3 months, and then I went to work, and I was always on my phone. And I missed a lot of their childhood, where like I regret a lot of that, like when they're little, because I was so focused on like hating my life that I was like, I'm gonna go crazy. And I had a best friend who was single, so we were at the bar all the time, and I had babysitters, and I was just living my best life. But that brought me a lot of like guilt and shame. So I was like very much like, I had a bad marriage, and just like, and the guilt of missing all the things when I finally like woke up and I was like, wow, this is like really not what I want to do with my life. I went into like a hole. Like, I was like, I just want to be a nurse. I want to clock in and out. I don't want to do sales anymore. I don't want to be seen. Like, I just want to be. And then COVID helped that. So like, we went 3 years where like, I was living in my house, which kind of changed a lot of things, but like gave me anxiety, and I was still feeling guilty and shameful. And I was like, I don't want to be seen anymore. Because when I turned 30, I was convinced I do what I want. Like, I was like this, like, I'm the salesperson. I'm flirting with all these older guys. And like, I was like, I ran the world. Like, I was like, I'll do what I want. And so I went through that period, and I came out on the other side of that just so anxious, like so miserable. Like, I didn't know like what, like, I'm like, I don't want to leave my house. I don't leave my family. I felt so bad. I was anxious. The world was making me anxious. And then we started going to church, and it like that, all the anxiety and things like that went away. Like I don't feel guilt and shame or anxiety at all anymore. I didn't really ask for it to go away, but it was like gone. And, but now I'm kind of like rebuilding like who I am in that, because I'm like, well, I'm not that person that I was when I was convinced I do what I want. But part of that is still there. Like I'm still a charismatic person that people like to talk to. And I have to watch myself too, because I will throttle that too. Because I'm like very much like, oh, I don't want to like put myself in a situation where someone thinks that I'm something that I'm not, you know, or something that I don't like, doesn't reflect like who I want to be. So I'm in this like kind of like rebuilding stage where I don't really care to be seen. I hate to say I don't care to be seen, but I don't. Like I'm not like, for a period I was posting online and I was working out all the time and I was taking the like mirror pics and I was like, you know, hot shit. And I'm like, I don't know who that is anymore. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to be that person anymore. So, like I don't think I feel seen because I don't want to be seen. Mm. Like I'm like in a way, and I think like because to me I'm like, well, if people see me, then I'm like out there too much, or I don't know.
Is there a fear there?
I think so. Like I think like I don't care what people think. Like I just started posting on my personal page about some stuff that I was like, I'm just gonna talk about this because everybody needs to know about it. And like that fear is like, I don't care, like say whatever you want about me. I'm sure it's all been said. I really don't care about people anymore. I'm like, I don't like, we have this circle of friends where we live and I'm just like, I don't like small talk anymore. And I just don't associate with a lot of people that I used to associate with. Like I associate with other business owners. Probably that's it, because I hate nothing more than someone being like, how's your business? And I'm like, what do you want me to tell you? Like I'm burning it down tomorrow, or like it's the best thing today. Like you don't understand that because you are not in business, and whatever I tell you, you're not going to understand. So I can't do small talk anymore. I don't really care what people think or say about me. But I think maybe that's the fear of like, who does she think she is? Do you know what I mean? Like, but for what? Like, what do I care? But I think it's me too. Like, I think I'm like, who do you think you are? Do you know what I mean? Like even like talking to you, I'm like, who do you think you are? Like, you're getting interviewed for what? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's like that, like, who are you? I'm like, well, I don't know.